The train's distant rumble shook the earth, a grim countdown to disaster. Chief Amara Cole, hands bound, stared down the tracks, her heart pounding but her spirit unbroken. She'd come to this small town to reform its broken police force, but Officer Dan Hargrove, fueled by hate and ignorance, had other plans. In his mind, she was just another outsider, her dark skin a mark of unworthiness. He didn't know she was the new chief nobody had told him. And now, with the train's whistle piercing the dusk, his cruel act of tying her to the tracks was unraveling into a nightmare of his own making. Amara's first day in Eldridge wasn't supposed to end like this. She'd arrived with hope, her badge gleaming with purpose. The town, nestled in a forgotten corner of the Midwest, had a history of division, racial slurs whispered in diners, suspicious glances at anyone who didn't fit the mold. Amara, born to a family of activists, knew the stakes. She'd faced prejudice before, but this was different. Hargrove's patrol car had cut her off on a back road, his sneer visible even through the dusk. "You don't belong here," he'd spat, his voice dripping with venom. Before she could flash her badge, his cuffs were on her, and the world spun into chaos. The ropes bit into her wrists as she lay on the tracks, the cold steel pressing against her back. Hargrove stood over her, his flashlight blinding, his words a torrent of hate. "This'll teach you," he growled, oblivious to the irony of his actions. Amara's mind raced. She could hear the train, feel its vibrations. But she wasn't just fighting for her life, she was fighting for every person this town had silenced, every soul dismissed because of their skin. Her voice, steady despite the fear, cut through his tirade. "You don't know who I am, do you?" Hargrove froze, his flashlight wavering. "What are you talking about?" he snapped, but doubt crept into his eyes. Amara's gaze locked onto his, unyielding. "I'm Chief Amara Cole, your boss." The words hung heavy, slicing through the humid air. Hargrove's face paled, his bravado crumbling as the truth sank in. He'd heard rumors of a new chief, but no one had mentioned her name or her face. The train's roar grew louder, a beast closing in. Panic seized him. He fumbled with the ropes, his hands trembling. This was a mistake," he stammered, but Amara's eyes burned with a fire that silenced his excuses. "A mistake," she said, her voice low but fierce. "You tied me here because of what I look like. That's not a mistake. That's who you are." The words struck like a hammer, exposing the rod in his soul. Hargrove's knees buckled, but the train was seconds away, its light piercing the twilight. In that moment, something shifted. Amara's strength, her refusal to break, forced Hargrove to confront the ugliness within himself. He lunged forward, cutting the ropes with a pocket knife, his breaths ragged. Amara rolled free just as the train thundered past, its wind whipping her hair. She stood, dusting herself off, her badge catching the faint glow of the setting sun. Hargrove collapsed, sobbing, his world shattered not by the train but by the weight of his own actions. Amara could have arrested him on the spot. She had every right, but she saw something in his brokenness, a chance, however slim, for redemption. "You're done here," she said, her voice firm but not cruel. "Turn in your badge tomorrow. Then get help. Real help." She walked away, her silhouette strong against the fading light, leaving Hargrove to grapple with his shame. The next morning, Eldridge buzzed with the story. Some called Amara a hero. Others whispered their doubts, clinging to old prejudices. She didn't care. At the station, she faced a room of officers, some supportive, some wary. "I'm here to serve everyone," she declared, her voice steady. "But I won't tolerate hate. Not from you. Not from anyone." The room was silent, her words a promise and a warning. Hargrove never returned. Some said he left town. Others said he was seeking therapy, trying to unlearn decades of bias. Amara didn't dwell on him. She had a town to heal, a force to rebuild. Every day, she walked Eldridge's streets, meeting distrust with patience, fear with understanding. Slowly, The whispers faded. Kids waved at her from porches. Shopkeepers nodded in respect. The town wasn't perfect. Change never is, but Amara's presence was a spark, igniting hope where division once ruled. In the end, it wasn't just about one night on the tracks. It was about a woman who refused to be defined by hate, who turned a moment of cruelty into a chance for growth. Amara Cole didn't just survive, she showed Eldridge, and maybe even Hargrove, that justice, like a train, keeps coming, unstoppable, for those who dare to stand in its way. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.